So I'm trying to do something today. Trying to do something that we don't normally do a lot on this channel. Something that I've definitely overlooked in the process of being on this channel and going through all of these different stories. And that's any level of introspection whatsoever. Reviewing things we've already talked about, going back over them, updating them. I've never really done that. Right, I kind of just make a video and then I move on to the next thing, and I'm like a goldfish swimming around in a bowl. Every day I've forgotten what I did the day before, and we're back where we started, and I'm excited about that in a new and exciting way. Maybe I'll put on a new shirt. Maybe I'll stash something else at the end of my desk, like this cereal bowl that's here today for you guys to notice and then comment on all over the place. You know, maybe I'm leaving all of this stuff in the background on purpose for you to notice it. Maybe I'm not. Hint. I'm not. You guys just notice the changing layout of my room all of the time, and it's a little unsettling because I feel like you notice more than I do, and I'm the one that's actually sitting physically in the room. But we are practicing introspection today. Maybe it's my impending death in the marathon on Sunday. Just kidding. I'm going to live. I'm going to set the world record. But I am running the marathon this Sunday, so you can't really tell me to run anymore because I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to rest so that, you know, my legs are nice and fresh for the marathon, and that is what I'm going to do. Unless, you know, would stop bullying me, seriously. But yeah, I am running the marathon on Sunday. If you wanted to track that, that's exciting. But is that causing my introspection? I don't think so. I think I might just be becoming a better person. Maybe I'm even becoming a better content creator. I don't know. You remember that video I made? Very weirdly specific video about it. The last club that was perfect in all of Europe's top leagues, right? Every single one of Europe's top leagues, there was only one club left that had won every game, and that club was Aberdeen. If you remembered that video, Aberdeen were not in Europe, which is where a lot of teams kind of end up with their first loss, and they won their first, 6 or 7 Scottish League matches, and they won their first couple of Scottish Cup matches, and so they'd literally won every match that they had played. Which is cool. It's unique. It's awesome because the Scottish League is notorious for being an oligarchy, a 2-team oligarchy between Rangers and Celtic, and those teams have the chance to, make deep runs in the smaller European competitions and, completely run away with the league. It's been Celtic's league the last couple of years, but Aberdeen, the last team that wasn't Rangers or Celtic, by the way, they won it when Sir Alex Ferguson was the coach. Just throwing that out there. Very interesting fun fact. The last team excuse me. But they were the last team besides Rangers or Celtic that actually won the league. They're still going. They're still, it's still happening. But there's a reason that it has become much more noteworthy now than the first time I made a video about it. Because it has become a lot more noteworthy now than the first time I made a video about it. The first time I made the video, they hadn't played Celtic or Rangers. Now they've played both of them. That's when you send up the sign. You're like, well, hold on just a gosh darn second there, Buster, right? Like, they played Celtic on October 19th. It was a 2-2 draw. Celtic, of course, is still top of the league, which I find hilarious, but they took a 2-0 lead. The Japanese imports on the Celtic team, courtesy of Ange Postecoglou, by the way, who created that connection between the Japanese league and Celtic, where they've brought in a number of players that are clearly doing pretty well. Then in the second half, just 2 goals for Aberdeen. Down 2-0. Down 2-0, I believe, in the order of the teams and everything, at Celtic Park. And they showed out in the second half and scored 2 goals and equalized to stay on pace with Celtic. This is the only match that Celtic has dropped points in this entire season. And then Aberdeen right after that, 2 matches after that, I should say, right? They found a way to win this game in the 84th minute against Dundee United. They also beat Dundee by a goal. They beat Hearts by a goal. Then they played Rangers. And then in the 74th minute, they scored a winning goal against Rangers. They also missed a penalty. This one was at home. But that means we now have an Aberdeen team that has 10 matches played in the league, still alive in the League Cup as well after demolishing Spartans in their most recent League Cup match. And that is on pace at the top of the league to actually be able to compete for, something. Rangers is having an absolute dud of a year. They lost to Kilmarnock recently. Celtic does have a plus 26 goal difference, but that almost makes this even more impressive Because Celtic has only allowed 3 goals the entire season, the entire opening 10 matches of the Scottish League season. 2 of those are to Aberdeen. Now, I'm not going to pretend that Aberdeen is actually better than Celtic. It is very clear that Celtic is like me playing with Celtic on FM, right? They are completely unstoppable right now. Anytime you have a plus 26 goal difference in 10 matches with, 9 wins from 10, and then your 1 draw was a 2-goal comeback from the other team that just seems to be on a mission from God right now. Right? Like, obviously, Celtic is the most talented, the best team in Scotland. But Aberdeen's 9 points ahead of Rangers after beating Rangers this past weekend. I don't want to just say that. Yes, after beating Rangers, not this past weekend, yesterday. They beat Rangers yesterday. Oh, yeah, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, by the way. I realize the majority of you are probably not in an area where you celebrate that. I feel like that is a crime. This is the best holiday ever. It doesn't have any sort of weighty, other things going on with it. It doesn't have some sort of serious underlying meaning. It is just an excuse to dress up and eat candy, which is what makes it every American kid's favorite holiday, basically growing up. At least that was my understanding. That was what I enjoyed. You had to just put on a silly mask and then go get candy from everybody. Happy Halloween, everybody. Whether you celebrate the glorious day or not. And it's scary times for Rangers because of this 9-point gap. 9! What's Rangers doing? They're going to dissolve again or something. Now, I know what you're wondering. Has Celtic played Rangers? The answer is yes. Celtic has played Rangers. They beat them 3-0 earlier in the season, which means that there is really no potential other team out there that is going to be able to trip Celtic up over the course of the rest of this season if it's not Aberdeen, right? I mean, obviously, every match you have to step on the field and actually, try to play, but they're beating teams like St. Johnstone 6-0. They went to Ross County and only won 2-1, but scrolling through their scores, it's pretty clear that not only is their defense great, but they're putting up multiple goals in basically every game, even going on the road, getting very comfortable results. So Aberdeen, despite its unbelievable start, still has a very tall mountain to climb, and the mountain is named Celtic. But they are doing it. They are doing what many people would have thought was completely impossible at the start of the season. They are legitimately keeping pace with Celtic after having played against the 2 big teams in Scotland. They are still right on pace. And while Celtic is probably going to try and line up an unbeaten season here, Aberdeen, and Aberdeen's going to have to try and stay perfect in order to give themselves a chance to actually catch up to Celtic. I mean, they're not going to catch them on goal difference, so I suppose a chance to surpass Celtic when it comes to points. It's going to be really hard. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But the fact that it's still going on, the fact that we're 10 matches into the season and Aberdeen is still in stride, gives hope to all those other clubs in these sorts of leagues, whether you're in Croatia trying to catch Dinamo Zagreb or whatever, that it is possible to capture lightning in a bottle and actually try and reel these teams in a little bit, at least create some drama. Because if we're being honest, as much as it's fun to be a Celtic fan and just, commit war crimes against every other team in Scotland over the past few years, it's more exciting if you've got somebody to play against. All right, if you're the fastest man in the world and you're just lapping everybody, it's boring. If you got some guy chasing you down, at least it's exciting. Rangers doesn't seem like the team that's going to be able to chase them down this year, but hot damn. That 2-goal comeback by Aberdeen's created a little spice here. The next time Celtic and Aberdeen play, I want to be there. And I'm now trying to serve my purpose here to inform you guys when cool things are happening. So I'm going to inform you when that is going to happen. Now, obviously, it is going to be way into the future. It is February 26th, the next time that Celtic and Aberdeen are going to play. Okay. But if you mark that down on your calendar, and if Aberdeen is able to kind of keep this going enough to keep things spicy at the top of the league, we might actually have a legitimate race for the Scottish Championship for the first time in a couple of years, courtesy of the number 1 spoiler candidate of all time. I hope they keep it going. It'd be one of the most amazing stories in football in a long time for a team as dominant as Celtic to be picked apart, not by their main rival, but by some just other random dudes in kilts with bagpipes. And I'm just making assumptions here.